Now, okay, and this is just one more piece, and then we can start actually going into really how the crucible works. What the gift of being able to be a subset, the gift of being able to be in incarnation and be in a contraction from the whole, is that we actually get to engage with something that we don't know. We get to have unknowns. Take that in for a moment. What this is? Did you say cool?
Cool. I don't know what it is that I don't know that I'm engaged in. It's very cool.
It's basically almost everything has unknowns in it. You know, anything that is not, even my own experience of myself is kind of unknown. And that's why putting oneself into the crucible is such an incredibly good work, you know. So, but you know, here we are in a world that's just teeming with what is this? You know, what is all of this? What's going on here? And to see how, you know, I've learned a little bit in order to, you know, be able to function here. I've learned a little bit, but to think that that's enough to really know, for instance, how to love, or how to forgive, or how to have a relationship with something that's really scary, that with all the things that I fear. I hold lots of ways that I fear, and I don't think I'm alone. I don't think I'm alone. I haven't met anybody who doesn't hold fear yet. Maybe there's somebody out there. Maybe there is somebody, and God bless them if there is, you know.
Actually, there's a little gland in your brain.
What?
There's a little gland in your brain.
That holds no fear?
That has fear.
That has fear.
When that's triggered, it secretes a hormone that creates fear. And some people have a bigger fear.
What's the gland? Is it the pituitary?
Yeah.
Is it the pituitary?
It's kind of a new kind of discovery, but there's a little gland somewhere near your pineal gland.
Probably the pituitary, huh?
No,
not?
No, it's a separate gland.
A separate gland.
And it's just newly kind of
discovered
now. And it actually, people that have, some of it's atrophied and people have no fear, and some of it is
larger. Huh, interesting.
Really?
Well, fear has a function.
An implant to me.
Interesting, yeah. And and then, there's the whole fear in the gut thing, you know. I mean, I'm not alone here. I mean, I don't want to talk about entities, although, that's a possibility. But this is, my gut is, I am a collective. This incarnation thing is not a singularity. I'm a singularity. I am the center. I've talked about this one too. We are each the center of the universe. You know this, right? You are literally the center of the universe. Have you heard this one?
You mean your own little universe?
No, we're all also in a big universe, but where you are is okay. Here, well, I'll give the piece again. This is when the scientists saw, it's actually been scientifically verified, that they saw that the universe was expanding, and they thought, well, okay, it's expanding. Where is it expanding from? So they looked at how the stars were moving, and they did the math. They rolled the clock backwards, and it turned out that everywhere was center. There was nowhere that was not the center. And which, makes sense. If the Big Bang or the big birth or, the big poof is true, that it was all in a singularity at one point, and then it birthed itself, somehow, then it was all there. It was all center. Everything was center. So it's an omnicentric universe, which means that you literally are the center of the universe. If the clock wound back, you would be right there.
So we'd
You would be in the
beginning
center.
Source.
You and Source are one,
Right.
basically. You and Source are one. And yet here we are having this contracted experience. It's like, okay. It's what's the gift of that? It's a holy contract, both with the W and without the W.
So my linear mind can't quite get how each one of us could be the center.
It's
paradox.
definitely a lot to
Yeah.
wrap one's mind around, but
Like the center, we think of center either here or there, but for all of us to be the center.
all of it to be center. And with that realization, if you start to consider that, then the necessity of respect, which I want to cover tonight, starts to become really obvious. So respect is one of the things I want to cover tonight. That's very important.
If you look at particle physics, they can tell you a lot of things about a particle. They can tell you where the probability is that it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's all probability, which means that it doesn't really exist anywhere. It only exists when it's observed.
Right.
Right.
Well, I'm observing from here, and here is my particle. It's like there is, to be able to, I mean, this is the contract. This is the holy contract, to experience the universe as the center, which means a lot. We're going to go into that. This is part of what it means to be the center of the universe. It's actually to own that you are the crucible. You are the intersection point between the vast universe and the, crucible has the cruce, the origins, the etymology in the word has cross in it, cruce, cross, same root. And so you are the cross point between your vertical alignment through all dimensions and into this reality. And right here is where I have my attention. I mean, I can, maybe sometimes I go out and I do other things. That's quite possible. Most of my time, I'm here in waking life. Most of my time, I'm right here. And this is a holy contract. This is what I want to say. So, okay, because from here we get to deal with unknowns. And to put your unknowns in the same universe as you, and start to see how you relate to them, what we do, what we assume, what we fear, how we contract, how we relate, how we engage or not. This is how we actually are creating the universe from here. You had a ding.
Now, I always say that everything is information.
Yeah.
Everything is information, thought in the form of.
Yes. Yes.
So if you can get in touch with that witness, that it's the. So I think of everything is me.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
And logic doesn't apply here. I just have to go into that place where I'm a pure witness.
Right. Right.
I'm not creating. I'm not destroying. I'm not doing. I'm just being. When I can just go inside in meditation or whatever and be in that place, and I really get the hint that everything is just thought in the form of whatever.
And I honor that experience, and that's not where I usually am. And I want to honor the experience where I usually am.
Mm-hmm.
My waking I want to study what my waking consciousness is doing, because it's active here. It's also creating the universe. Mm-hmm. And it's doing it through all kinds of ways that it is responding, consciously, subconsciously, unconsciously, programmed by, these collective memes, old programming, historically, genetically. There's all these different ways that we're kind of shaped into this waking consciousness that's also functioning. I mean, that is a wonderful realization, and it helps you relax and actually start
I'm
to
in the
bring
same
that
place
in.
As you actually.
What?
I think I'm actually in the same place. I'm just coming from I'm giving a different story.
Yeah, yeah, and this is what I'm doing is it's kind of a different language, and I'm trying to express something in kind of a new way. It's alchemical, you know, it's alchemical, which is an ancient study, but actually I'm expressing it in a new way. I'm expressing it in a new way, and I'm willing to just do this. So.
And the new part is the unknown, is the recognition of
Recognition of the
we can know
unknowns.
ourselves, but can't know anything else.
Yeah, actually, you know, there's this. Here's a meme. Here's a spiritual meme that is true. It's absolutely true, and it's kind of expressed in what you just said. Is that we are all one. This is all one universe. It's absolutely true, and yet, here I am in this experience of feeling myself as a me and feeling you as other, as unknown.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and you're a different other, and you're a different other, and this is a different other, and you know, everything is other in my experience. And how do I have relationship with that? This is why, you know, being able to have a conscious relationship in a way that I'm that I'm respectful, that the universe gets to have its most beautiful expression, and it's also what will help to let the universe have its most beautiful expression, that I get to perceive that the universe is as exquisite as it possibly could be, is that I encourage health, is that, you know, and that I see that that's what's possible, that, you know, this is a frothing, it's an expanding, it's not solidified, it's not fixed, it's a liquid crystal. You know, it's constantly changing and doing something new. Oh my God, I have to deal with an unknown. I thought I knew you already. Dang, and now, you know, it's the next moment and now you're unknown again. You know, it's like, how do I deal with that? It's, okay, so
same
honoring
with-
that,
okay,
first of all.
encouraging it, like in that recognition.
Encouraging health and respect.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll get to that. Okay, I'll get to that.
Also kind of puts a whole new spin on source. Like, if you're doing healing and you're taking away some dark energy or something, and people say, well, let's send it to source. Well, that means send it back to us.
Right, yeah, right.
Wow,
Well,
it's like, okay, where are we going to do that stuff?
right. I mean, it starts to call a lot of things into
Yeah.
question. And,
That's good.
you know, not to get freaked out or anything. That's where, you know, if you can know that you are connected to source. We're doing a subset.
Right.
We're doing a subset. And it is connected up with a larger, much coherent whole. It
Well,
is.
That term sort of always bothered me anyway, because it just didn't, I couldn't picture it for one thing particularly.
Okay,
Sending
so-
back to source.
Sending back to
I don't
source.
get
Yeah,
that at
right.
all. I mean, I
Either.
don't-
It's not outside of me.
I
It's
would
not
say
outside of
that.
us, right? Yeah. How do
That's
you
the point.
do that?
It's like,
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
source.
all right, so I want to give you one geometry that functions in the crucible. This one's critical to understand, is the torus field. And the torus, classically, you know, in its simplest, most coherent form, it's the donut shape, okay? And it's the donut shape where there's a center point, which is where you are. You're right in the middle. You're the center of that universe. There's a singularity at the center of every torus. And then information comes out and, you know, starts to engage in the unknown. I don't know what direction it's going, you know, in both directions probably. And it's gathering information, having experience out there, and then coming back as perception. It comes back to you. Your own, you know, conception incepts out into reality. It gets received out there. There's reception out there. and then there's a reception that comes back, and it gets perceived. You have perception back in here. All of those are along your scepter. Those are all the scepter functions,
And
right?
What's the scepter?
The scepter is your vertical line, at the top of which, you know how the scepter has the little pineal gland at the top. It has the jeweled artichoke or pine cone or something is the classic, something jeweled at the top. Well, it's receiving light and giving that information down the verticality. And the verticality is where all the dimensions of torus fields that have receptor points much larger than the subset than what we're doing. But they all are aligned. They're all aligned through you as the center of the universe. And if you can kind of stay in this kind of vertical alignment, more or less, I mean, we go way off of it. At least if we can know where center is, we can swing around it, we can do all kinds of dancings with it, and hopefully we can relax and let ourselves drop back into it. And then have that be, cohering, all those levels of torus fields that are all, they're all aligned right through your own center. You're the center of the universe, okay? Now, the crucible. Yay, she finally talks about the crucible. The classic crucible is, it's got a long neck and it's got this kind of globular receptacle container. And I like the idea that it's made of glass. They can be made of various things, but with glass or with crystal or whatever, it's something that has something you can see through, and we have the image of the fish bowl, where the fish is in the bowl and you're looking at the fish and it looks like it's this big, because it's magnified through the glass. It's actually a magnifying glass, and it's swimming around in there, and you can see it take food, and it's like, oh my goodness, you can actually see it like practically digesting. Some fish are actually kind of, I didn't know I was going to go here, but some fish are actually kind of translucent, and you can actually see them digesting. That's kind of wild. So we're going to be the fish in the crucible, getting magnified. And with this round shape, it actually, when you start putting conditions, heating it up, heating the water, or just paying attention to it, that's going to be our main fire, is our attention. It starts to create a circulation of the elements. It actually starts to create a torus field of the contents, so that whatever you're considering, whatever you've put into the crucible, it can be an idea, it can be a fear, it can be a relationship, it can be anything. It can be anything that you can put in your crucible. It can be, your digestion. It can be anything that you want to put in the crucible. And put yourself in there too. And then you start to see how all of this is circulating. And what is it that is, when you have a little response in the center, a little fear come up, or a little, digestion of something, how does that then go out and create, interact with your field? Okay? Is this making sense?